My name's Emily Carter, and when I married Michael 3 years ago, I knew he had a daughter from his first marriage. Her name was Lily, and she was 12 back then. She lived with Michael's mother in a quiet suburb outside Chicago, a place with neat lawns, identical mailboxes, and streets so calm they felt frozen in time. I never wanted children. Not maybe later, not if it happens. I simply didn't want them. I wasn't aggressively child-free. I didn't judge anyone who chose motherhood, but I knew myself well enough to understand that parenting was not something I was built for. Michael said he understood that before we got married. He said Lily already had a home, a routine, a life that didn't involve me. I believed him. I shouldn't have. One Tuesday morning, while I was pouring coffee and half reading emails on my phone, Michael cleared his throat in that careful way of his, the way he did when he was about to say something that would change everything. "Emily," he said softly, "whether you want it or not, Lily is going to have to come live with us." I froze, my mug hovering in midair. "What?" I asked. "What do you mean, have to?" He rubbed his face, exhaustion written into every line. "My mom's doctor called yesterday. Her dementia is progressing fast. They say she's starting to forget basic things, turning off the stove, locking doors. Soon she won't recognize anyone." I felt my stomach drop. "It's not safe for Lily to stay there anymore, not alone with her." "Oh my God," I whispered, sinking into a chair. My heart started pounding, not from sympathy, but from panic. I could almost feel my life cracking apart piece by piece. "We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, my apartment, the one I bought before you, and now you're telling me a teenage girl is just moving in?" Michael didn't answer right away. "You're gone on trucking routes for weeks at a time. You leave Monday, you come back Friday, sometimes later, and I'm supposed to do what exactly? Feed her, watch her, pretend I know how to raise someone else's child?" "She's not a baby," he said quietly. "No, she's a stranger with homework, moods, friends, problems, and I don't even like kids, Michael, you know that." Silence stretched between us. "That's not fair," he finally raised his voice. "She's my daughter." That day, Michael snapped. He said my daughter was getting in the way and that we should get divorced, but he would not abandon his own daughter. I froze. No, divorce was not what I wanted. Michael was the perfect husband. I chose him myself at 35. He provides, he loves me, he understands me. I didn't want a divorce. That evening, he came back with Sarah. He practically dragged her by the hand. She was small and thin, clutching a bag with her belongings so tightly as if it were the only thing she had left. "Emily, come out and meet her. This is Sarah," he said. I came out. The girl was sitting, not lifting her eyes. Michael said she needed to be enrolled in school and that, for now, she would sleep in the living room. "In the morning, we'll figure everything out," he added. Before breakfast, Sarah quietly asked for a place between the wardrobes. "Dad said that," she began, then stopped. "Let your dad decide," I said sharply. "I hope I'm only staying temporarily," she said, softly, lowering her eyes. "My mom died. It was 40 days last week." My heart clenched. "Where is your grandmother?" I asked. "At a nursing home. She's very sick." It seemed the girl truly had no other options. Then she added, "I'll only stay until the holidays. After that, I'll go to my grandmother's sister. I really won't be a burden. I'll wash the floors, the windows. Grandma said I should be ready in case I ended up with a stepmother." I used to think the word stepmother belonged to someone else's life. Cold, distant, chujaya. Never to mine. And yet, one quiet evening, the thought struck me like a slap. Is this who I am now? A stepmother? That night, Michael came home late. He looked tired, but proud. too proud not to announce something important. "Good news," he said, dropping his keys on the table. "Sarah got into a good high school. Everything's arranged." I forced a smile. "That's great." He pulled some cash from his wallet and placed it on the counter. "I'm leaving tomorrow. Long-haul trip. Don't worry, this should cover things." Tomorrow. My chest tightened. "Michael," I said, barely holding my voice steady, "and what about us? About me being alone? About Sarah?" As if on cue, Sarah ran into the room and wrapped her arms around his waist. "Daddy, don't go," she whispered. "Please." He kissed the top of her head gently. "I have to, sweetheart. I'll be back soon." But he still left. The door closed behind him and the apartment suddenly felt too big, too quiet. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw ached. "Pull yourself together," I told myself. I bought Sarah her school uniform, notebooks, a backpack, everything we could afford. I tried to make it special, exciting. "New school, new start," I said, smiling. The first day ended in tears. She came home silent, her shoulders slumped. She dropped her backpack by the door and collapsed onto the couch. "Sarah?" I sat beside her. "What happened?" Her voice shook. Can I go to another school?" My heart sank. "Why would you want that?" She hesitated, then whispered, "They laughed at me. My clothes are old. My phone is cheap. Some girls took my backpack and threw it around. Everyone was watching." Something inside me snapped. I had been that girl once, in the 90s, poorly dressed, humiliated, pretending not to care while dying inside. I stood up. "Sarah," I said firmly, "get your jacket. We're going back." Her eyes widened. "What?" "We're going to teach them that they don't get to treat you like that." 30 minutes later, I was sitting in the principal's office. I spoke calmly, clearly, just like I had been taught years ago when I worked with prosecutors. "I am here about discrimination, about neglect, about allowing children to be bullied because of their appearance and financial background." The principal blinked, clearly unprepared. "You understand," you continued, "that this can involve inspections, official complaints, even higher authorities, or we can solve it here, today." The room was silent. Finally, she nodded quickly. "Sarah will be under my personal supervision. I promise. This will stop immediately." We walked out of the school together. Sarah didn't say a word at first. Then she looked up at me and quietly said, "Thank you." I smiled, softening. "Come on," I said. "Let's go shopping. We'll get you some nice clothes." She hesitated. "You don't have to." "I know, but I want to." And in that moment, I understood something clearly. I wasn't just a stepmother. I was on her side. "You're going to be stylish now," I told Sarah, smiling as she twirled in front of the mirror. For the first time in days, she laughed freely, light, unafraid. A few days passed. When Michael finally returned from his trip, he opened the front door cautiously. I could tell he was bracing himself, expecting tension, arguments, maybe even tears. He had left 2 women behind and clearly feared coming back to a battlefield. But instead of raised voices, he was greeted by the warm smell of dinner. I stood in the kitchen, calm, setting plates on the table. The lights were soft, the apartment quiet in a good way. "Hey," I said simply. He blinked, confused. "Hey, everything okay?" Before I could answer, Sarah came running from her room. She threw herself into his arms, laughing. "Daddy," she shouted, "look, we almost finished your truck puzzle." She grabbed his hand and pulled him toward the living room, where pieces of a big red truck were spread across the coffee table. Michael laughed, that deep, tired laugh I hadn't heard in a while. "Wow," he said, "you did all this without me?" He looked at Sarah, then at me, his eyes softening. "Damn," he murmured. "It's so hard being away when you know a loving family is waiting for you at home." Something warm settled in my chest. As he washed his hands and sat down at the table, I watched them together, father and daughter, happy, safe. And for the first time, I didn't feel like an outsider watching someone else's life. I thought quietly to myself, maybe I'm not childless after all. Maybe family isn't blood. Maybe it's about choosing to stay.